With Evanescia just being about a day away, today I'm here with the should you or should you not summon for her, going over what makes her such a strong hyper carry, and then reasons why you should or should not summon depending on the viewer. Stuck grinding in Honkai Star Rail? Need Stellar Jades fast? We've got you covered. Head over to U7 Buy, your ultimate gaming hub for save fast and cheap in-game top-ups. Whether it's Star Rail or your other favorite games, U7 delivers instantly and players love it. Check out their Trustpilot reviews, they're actually top ranked. On the Honkai Star Rail direct top-up page, you can recharge your account in seconds. For example, 8080 Honorific Shards cost $99.99 in the official store. However, on U7 Buy, you can see the price is cheaper. When you head over to U7 Buy, you might notice that the storefront display prices currently match the in-game store, but don't worry, the magic happens at checkout. Once you click the Buy Now button, your total instantly drops to our actual discounted price only. Just pick your server, enter UID, pay securely, and boom, your account is instantly loaded. Want extra savings? Use code PRETSR at checkout for 5% off, perfect for last-minute pulls, battle passes, or surprising a friend. And here's a bonus. If you spend $80 a month on U7 Buy, you can grab the Honkai Star Rail Express Pass for only 1 cent, which is nearly free. Click on the link in my description, recharge fast, save more, and keep blazing those trails. So for starters, Evanescia is going to be the brand new Elation Hypercarry, and she has a lot going for her, from having good conversion to Elation damage, having good multipliers in general, which makes buffs of stuff that doesn't work on Elation and stuff like attack without conversion more useful than someone like Silverwolf, and also is going to be another ultimate looper character. That's where her damage is mainly stored. Her Elation skill can be spammed depending on your investment, and she has a very unique style of having a lot of certified banger. Certified banger for Elation characters isn't a rare thing, you want to get as much as you can, but with Evanescia, she's able to constantly have a bunch because she is able to convert teammates' certified bangers when there's ends to her own. Certified banger for her also translates to energy, which is why it's very important, as her majority of damage is in that actual ultimate. So Elation teammates with her is going to be important. The only unfortunate thing about that is the teammates for Elation, there's only one good one for her, being Yaoguang. Roxy is not really a character you want to use with her. While it's possible, it's just not really ideal. And Elation MC is just generally a bad character. Yet Evanescia is still very strong with that team of Yaoguang and Elation MC. She can also use other characters better, like I mentioned. Like you could use someone like RMC, although EMC is slightly better now. There's even setups with Cyrene and RMC because it just gets that crazy, because Evanescia herself, she has really good multipliers on her skill. It's 300% and 150% to adjustment. Ultimate is 160% and 120%. So stuff like damage percent and attack buffs, while they're not as important as stuff that actually impacts Elation because it's very small percentage of her damage, she can still use it better. So like those buffs aren't completely worthless as if you were to put damage percent on Silverwolf or attack on Silverwolf. That is where it's completely useless pretty much. With Evanescia, it's a bit more felt. So yeah, the entire playstyle is to keep up as much certified banger on her as you can. More certified banger you gain is more energy, as she is able to convert it. She also is able to overcap her ultimate, so you are able to have 2. Think of it exactly like Yunli, where it's not actually enhanced ultimate like Argenti, it's rather one of the same ultimate that you can just have 2 of. Another thing about her, she's able to convert her crit damage to Elation, so the more crit damage you build, the better she would be for Elation damage. And she also has a trace that gives her the 30% crit rate at the same time, so she's that much easier to build. Self-sufficient on that crit rate part. You still want to get rolls, of course, because it's important, but you can focus a bunch of stats on crit damage, as that is going to be the main thing you want to get on your pieces. Just crit damage, crit damage, crit damage. You still want to get crit rate rolls, but mostly just crit damage. Her ultimate is also bounce, which is really good. As first, it does damage to all enemies in an AoE, and then damage based off 5 instances. So she's not really bricked out if it came to attacking 5 enemies, or even 1 enemy especially. She does perform against both very well. On top of that, with the less amount of enemies on the field, thanks to her traces, she's able to increase her bounce count. So from 3 or more, she gets 1, so it's 6. If it's 2, then you get 2 bounces, and if 1, it's 4 bounces. So you can shred depending on less enemies. That's just how bounce is. The lesser enemies, the more that focuses, the better the damage is, and that is able to enhance it even further. So instead, you can get up to 6, you can get 7, or you can get 9. And then her actual Elation skill just does physical Elation damage, just pretty solid damage overall, but you're mainly focusing on ultimate. Her skill also is able to grant certified banger as well. You can tell the entire playstyle is to just get as much certified banger and be able to maintain it, because certified banger itself converts to energy. Energy is also what you're of course going to need to unleash your ultimates. Getting your ultimate to allow Master Fox to attack. She does have a follow-up attack which would do 25% physical Elation to all enemies, and then the actual multiplier will do physical damage equal to 100% of her attack to all enemies. So yeah, her talent is the one actually adding all the Elation damage and stuff. So all the multipliers we mentioned for ultimate and skill, then her talent makes it to where 16% of physical Elation damage would be dealt to the enemies, ultimate is 24% and also 28%. So Evanescia's damage output is very high. And not only that, she has some absolutely insane vertical investment. She probably has the best E1 for a DPS in the game. It gives her 20% all-type res pen, and then anytime Master Fox uses an attack, additionally will trigger her Elation skill, and Elation skill additionally gives 10 certified banger points. All-type res pen is universally good. More of that, always better. And the amount of output you get because you're now being able to spam your Elation skill, because every time Master Fox attacks, which is when you accumulate enough energy, you're gonna get that going off and off and off, and now you get more certified banger, which is also more energy, so it's just that much better. Her light cone is also insane, provides 60% crit damage, which is insane for the conversion. Also 10% energy regen rate, which further increases depending on the max energy amount, which she is able to fully cap up so you can get around 20%, and also does have some vulnerability against enemies to just do more damage. And then the other jump, which would be E2, is also very good because it increases her crit damage, and then the trace that gave her certified banger when an ally's certified banger ends, or the one that did have the conversion of the participant ID that's lower than Evanescia, so mostly the supports like Yaoguang and stuff, they would get that converted as well, is able to increase that by 50%/100% gained at that time. So that E2 is going to be insane for your output as well. It's not as good of a jump as E1 because E1 is just absurd. Actual calc wise, I'm pretty sure it was around the 40 to 50% increase, which is just absurd for an E1. And E2 alone is also like 20 to 30%, which is also very damn good. And it just makes her able to spam ult even more because that's how good it is. So Evanescia is just a very, very powerful Elation DPS. I can definitely see her being the strongest DPS we have, at least in certain cost thresholds. I don't think it's going to beat Remembrance when it comes to high cost, but Remembrance is a full team, and Evanescia's team is just mainly Yaoguang and then 2 extra slots that are not really tailor-made towards her. EMC, while good for her, is just still generally weak. Once these team slots get filled and she has her full, proper, more premium team, then that is going to be just insane. That reasons why you should or should not summon. If you're in need of a DPS and you do have at least Yaoguang available, you actually don't even need Yaoguang right now. There's a lot of team comps that just don't use Yaoguang because she's just pretty flexible as opposed to someone like Silverwolf. Evanescia is just going to be a good DPS. Plus, outside of Shill, she performs really good. And right now, we're in Prime Elation Shill, so she's going to perform absolutely bonkers. So she's just going to be a DPS that performs insane right now, even at lower investment. And then once Shill ends, when you are no longer having these characters that maybe provide a bunch of punchline, and by characters I mean enemies, once like the Shill stuff does end later on, she's still gonna perform well because she just does her job very well, and her playstyle is easy to get into and also a lot of stuff you can do with it. But I do highly recommend having Yaoguang at least available because a part of our best team would be Yaoguang, and then the other slots are flexible. Like again, usually you can just use EMC, which is a free unit. Sustain slot usually would go to Huohuo, and then if you're doing sustain list, there's so many options if you don't really got to get into. So her team options right now are actually quite easy to build around because you just have her, you have Yaoguang, you're pretty much good to go. The last 2 slots, they're morally easy to fill as opposed to not having Yaoguang. Yaoguang is the biggest increase you can get, and the other slots are more interchangeable. But if you have EMC available because your MC is free, then there you go. That's a 3rd slot. Then you just need to sustain. Sustain this, you can even throw someone like Tribby or even Cypher in there, or the upcoming character Blade, from what it seems, even can go on there. She is quite flexible, but just having Yaoguang is pretty important. So yeah, the thing with DPSs, the main idea is if you're in need of a DPS. If you're in need of a DPS, Evanescia is just a very good character to pick up because she just performs insanely well. And then if you get to a problem where you have some teammate issues, like maybe you have Silverwolf now who's also using Yaoguang, which is where the issue could arise, which now brings us to the second point of why you should not summon. Of course, the general idea would be if you're not in need of a DPS, like your teams are already filled, you have Remembrance, maybe you have Silverwolf, maybe you have Break, maybe you have Dot, maybe you have Anoxa, Finon, Ashville, so on and so forth. If you already have your DPS slots filled, then of course you don't really need to add another one and build a team around them. So in that case, you could end up skipping. And the other case would be is if you're someone who committed to Silverwolf. The only reason I say that is just because both of them very much want Yaoguang. Again, Evanescia can work less without Yaoguang, but you still want to have them on the teams for best outputs, so that's why you can kind of get where I'm getting at here. And maybe in the future when they do release like an Elation Sustain, I can very much see both Silverwolf and Evanescia wanting them, which makes it even harder because now you want Yaoguang for both of them, and now you want the Sustain for both of them, and it's going to be kind of rough without it. So if you went the route of pulling Silverwolf and you have the team for her, I really just recommend sticking to one or the other because that just just kind of how it is. They share teammates besides Sparksy, which again, Sparksy can actually be used on Evanescia's team, just not as well as opposed to other options. But the Yao Guang slot is actually filled. Technically, if you're using Huo as a sustain on Silver Wolf slot, that's also filled because you want to use Huo as a sustain on Evanessia's. And then in the future, when there is like an Elation sustain or maybe even another Elation support, I can see both of them going to want them. So then you kind of just have this mix of DPSs that want the same thing. So if you went the Silver Wolf route, I just recommend staying on that and rather than just trying to mix and match between, because maybe that'll work now because Elation's super shielded, but later on, once the shield ends, it's going to be a lot more rough. In my humble opinion, I do think Evanescia is going to age significantly better just because of the way she does it work and the more quote-unquote flexibility she does have, but you never know. This is not really a game where we can predict the future like that, so it's mainly just going off past experiences and what I do personally think. But anyway, that has been the video. That is the should you or should you not summon for Evanescia, talking about why she's strong and then reasons why you should or should not summon. I do hope you found this video helpful. If you did, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other tips and style content. I'll see you later. Peace out.